and welcome to today's Esoteric Collective reading. If you are clicking on this video, then welcome to Pile A. Pile A has randomly chosen you, whether you're subscribed or you just happen to find my video because of algorithm things. I'm happy you're here. Today we're going to talk about the Cub card of the Oracle of Pluto deck. Pluto deck, excuse me. The letter O could be significant, I guess. But no, seriously, if you're interested in any of the decks, you can find them listed in the description. The first one, though, Oracle of Pluto. I'm gonna go ahead and read to you straight from the guidebook. So if you'll bear with me while I find it. Turtles could also be significant. The color green, the letter P. OP is an overpowered. You could be into video games. This is random, but Five Nights at Freddy's might be relevant because I'm currently filming this right after doing some Five Nights at Freddy's covers. If you're interested in that, you can check out my channel. The letter H could also be significant. Greek mythology could be significant. Spiders could be significant. The colors black and white together, like in that one checkered pattern that it looks like those like Galactica little spaceships. The Cub card, while I'm looking for it in the book, is about like the inner child and how we can heal that. So I'm gonna let you know ahead of time. This might be a little bit of a sensitive reading, so I would suggest maybe grabbing a tea, maybe a coffee, maybe a little scone if you're into that, and just kind of be gentle with yourself with this one. But we're gonna go ahead and get right on into it. Lastly, the color gold could be significant, and glasses. Let's do this. A companion to the bear card, the cub represents the cuter, younger half of this furry duo. It also represents the one who is being protected, rather than the protector. Although the cub card by itself is a call to get in touch with your inner child, if you pulled mom and her baby in tandem, it's important to take note of who is playing each role in your current situation. It may also represent the duality that exists within us all. Where do you play the role of the protector, and where do you need more love, protection, and nurturing? The inner child is an interesting and elusive concept. There are plenty of us who grew up a little too fast due to circumstances outside our control. Perhaps real life has asked us to take on more responsibility than was appropriate for a child. Maybe we fell into a caretaking role too early, or family dynamics didn't create a safe environment for our inner child to grow, blossom, and flourish. However, just because we feel out of touch with our inner child does not mean that they aren't there. Now is the time to get in touch with little you in a big way. Think back to what you did as for fun as a child. If you draw a blank, maybe it would help to think about what you would have done had the opportunity been there. Do that thing now. Release judgment of yourself and tell your inner child how proud of them you are. If the thought of being silly and talking to your inner child feels uncomfortable, you'll know you're on the right track. The concept of taking and giving and the idea of the Four of Pentacles is coming to mind. So we're going to go ahead and pull some tarot from the Moon and Stars tarot deck. Once again, you can find any and all of the decks used listed in the description below. Also, the number 333 could be significant as well. I just saw that on the timer. But the idea of taking and giving, being given enough to be able to give back. Let's see what the collective has to hear today. Immediately the Emperor card came out and it's on the floor, which for me, when a card is on the floor, it is extra significant. So that idea though of like taking charge of your reality, being able to delegate to others. I think of an emperor, I literally think of like a king of a kingdom and how he has to watch over the entire kingdom, even from afar, to be able to take care of everybody, you know? And the King of Wands popped out as well. So we're gonna go ahead and see what the reverses and the uprights are. Also, two cards are kind of like sticking out of the deck a little bit, so I'll go ahead and take those. Lovely, all right. If you see my arm in the shot, apologies. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera, so I apologize for any shakiness. Also, I just saw 444 on the timer just then, so that number could also be significant. Once again, apologies for any shaky camera angles. That'll do. Alright. So immediately here, I'm getting the vibe that maybe as a child, you struggled with letting your freak flag fly, if you catch what I'm saying. If not, basically what I mean by that is like, especially with the King of Wands in reverse, with that Fool card clarifying it, it's this idea that maybe you weren't able to like pursue the arts that you wanted to as a child. It could also be that any passion that you had for things was diminished when you were a child, was not encouraged, was not supported, right? And this chapter in your life right now, as you're talking and having these discussions with your inner child, is about letting yourself experience those passions as an adult. So like the idea of like, because I'm a singer, and I mentioned the vocal covers earlier with the Five Nights at Freddy's thing, I'm gonna use that as an example. Maybe as a kid, your singing was not supported. Maybe people didn't want to hear you sing, or maybe you just felt too scared to actually sing in front of public. What's that fear called? Stage fright. There we go. Maybe you had a little bit of stage fright as a kid, and so you didn't pursue the arts that you wanted to. This time, this chapter of you being an adult, I'm assuming, I don't know you actually, but it feels like I'm talking to an adult here. You're starting new. You're in a new chapter of this life, and this new chapter, I feel, is supposed to influence and include. Interesting that I said influence when I meant to say include. This chapter is supposed to influence your opinion on your passions and to include your passions in your everyday life as this new chapter is going on. Now, I'm gonna walk us through a little bit of a breathing exercise before I get to this next part, because I can already tell it's probably gonna be a little bit deep. So, we're gonna do in, hold, and out. During this breathing exercise, it's going to be super quick, but I want you to know you do not have to breathe when I tell you to. The point is that you breathe. If you want to breathe on your own timing, do so. You cannot breathe incorrectly as long as you are breathing. So, in, hold, out. Again, in, hold, out. We're gonna do one more. In, hold, and out. All right. If you participated, thank you very much. If not, don't worry about it. However, this next part that I want to get into, we have the Emperor card, which can also be seen as a father figure card, and it's in the reverse with Six of Swords. So there could be some father wounds here, and while, once again, I do not know who you are because you're seeing this online, you know yourself and your story better than anybody else. So if there's this father issue when it comes to maybe not being supported for your passions from your father, possibly could just be a father figure, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like your blood-related father. If you had a teacher that did not support you, that could also be applicable as well. An authoritative power figure, possibly a masculine individual as well, you know. But with that Six of Swords, though, it's this idea, though, that even though there may be some father wounds when it comes to expressing your passions fully, by incorporating those passions into your everyday life now as an adult, you're able to move forward away from that pain. It's actually interesting. I'm thinking of the visual of the Witch's Cat tarot deck, which I will also leave in the description below if I remember to do so. In that deck, the card Six of Swords is a little kitten walking away with scratches in his cape. And it's this idea that, like, even though his cape, the thing that makes him feel like a superhero, has been scratched, he himself is still stable enough to continue walking, right? And I'm using he because, frankly, we're talking about the Emperor card, but any pronoun's applicable, obviously. I want to make that very clear, though. But the idea, though, that as you're incorporating this new energetic passion for the things that maybe you didn't feel comfortable pursuing as a child into your everyday adult life now, you're able to heal that inner father wound that maybe have occurred because of lack of support, right? We're going to go ahead and get some more info real quick, but I want to go ahead and just emphasize, feel free to breathe and take your time with this. Excuse me. We got the Queen of Swords coming out. Let's get a clarifier for that real quick. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So the Empress in reverse and Queen of Swords upright. I'm gonna switch this out. This could also just be parents in general, not necessarily just your father figure, but this idea, though, that, how how do I want to phrase this? Oh, by the way, sorry for confusing if I'm messing with the camera. It's a little bit headachy. Some people can be sensitive to moving visuals, so I try to emphasize, or at least clarify. I did not necessarily mean to say the word emphasize, but I feel like there is emphasis on this mother and father wound of expressing yourself, and part of this is just having to speak your truth. Queen of Swords, I think of like as somebody who can respond well with intellect, somebody who cuts through because of the truth. And sometimes when you're talking with your inner child, if you're going through that practice, the exercise of like asking yourself why multiple times when asking why you're afraid of things is coming to mind, one of those answers may be cut through a little bit. And I think that's what that ending of that Cub card was saying, where it's like if the conversation starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable, you're probably discussing that wound and you're getting closer to what that wound actually is for you, right? So in this case, while it is important to be soft with yourself, it's also important to cut through with the truth as well, so that way you're not ignorant to your own experiences and not ignorant to your own pain that you experienced, right? Specifically, 1111 could be significant, 1111, I just saw that on the timer just then. And I want to note that 10 of Cups has been on the bottom of this deck this entire time, even though I have been shuffling. So it's also this idea of like, stuttering could be significant, because I just noticed my stuttering just then. I think as you heal this wound of your inner child not being able to express their passions, you will find that your appreciation for found family or maybe even actual family dynamics will be improved. This idea that you're able to hold this love and this passion because you love what you are passionate about, right? That idea that, for me, the Wands suit and the Cups suit are very close together. Like the idea that you can have emotional connection with something and also a creatively driven connection with something, to me, are one and the same almost. Keyword, almost. I would say the Wands suit is a little bit more fast in particular. Like that idea of like a speed car, like racing. As I said that, there was a couple, like I think 2 car sounds in the background that were like an engine revving up. So this idea though that as you're going through this, know that you may find that as you're incorporating those passions into your adult life, you feel more emotionally satisfied, especially with your role in found family dynamics and community dynamics in group settings especially. But yeah, I'm gonna get a quick little card from the All of You is Magic deck. This deck is really good for meditation exercises, visualization practices, and also journal entries if you're into that. Interesting. As I was taking the deck out of the box, it cut halfway, and the card it cut on, one of the first words I saw was the word child. So we're going to go with this one. I'm going to first read it to you as you're looking at the words, and then I will flip it over and we can meditate on the back for a little bit because there's a beautiful art on the back. So I'm going to zoom in, so heads up, the camera will shake a little bit. Your imagination is your connection to the child within. It allows you to see the world with creativity and playfulness beyond the limitations of what is in front of you. Ritual. Focus your attention on any object in your surroundings. If you keep your attention on it long enough, you may feel like you're looking at it for the first time. This will help spark your imagination. Beautiful. Going to zoom out just a tiny bit so we can go ahead and get that art visual going. And as you're looking at this art, I'm going to go ahead and do my outro. So if you're still here, feel free to check out my linktree in my YouTube description and YouTube bio to help donate money to Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Yemen, and Haiti, as well as many, many more. The whole point of that linktree is to help put money to where money can help people live better lives. So if you're able to donate today, feel free to check out that linktree. Also, if you're an immigrant, particularly in the USA, I hope you have a smooth sailing type of a day. Maybe you literally go on a boat, or maybe you just have a really easygoing day. But regardless of your immigration status, I hope you have a fantastic, safe day. And I'll catch you guys next time. And I'm going to linger for a couple of seconds on this art so you can just really capture it. And we'll also get a little bit of a zoom as well. If any thoughts or feelings come to mind with this art, that could be significant towards your inner child healing as well. All right, peace.